Hey, what's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here from GuitarJams.com, and that funky guitar you were just hearing was my buddy Tim Pierce.
Funky man I am.
Yeah. It's nice when these old trends come back around, right?
Really nice. I love it. Love it. It's legal to play funk guitar again. That's good. Thank you.
And I've always loved the funky stuff.
Yeah.
So, what I thought would be cool is if you broke down some of that Nile Rodgers kind of style.
Absolutely.
You were nailing it in that intro.
Thank
I
you.
had to sneak in here and try and get some FaceTime, because you were taking away my my spotlight.
Okay, you can have some back. I'll give some back to you.
Okay, well, thank you. And then I'm going to give some back to you and tell you guys out there that Tim's got a YouTube channel with a bunch of great content. I'm personally a subscriber, and I get some wisdom and ideas out of that. So go down, check out his YouTube channel, and in the meantime, Tim is going to give you a funky Nile Rodgers style rhythm lesson right now. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you saw this as a G6, and I thankfully corrected you quickly and said that it was an E minor. And so if you play the low E, this becomes an E minor chord. It's a fragment. It's flat 3, 5, 1, and flat 3 for those who like numbers. It's an E minor chord. It's a 4-note chord, and then I'm going up to this A chord that we've all seen, which is the top 4 notes of the A bar chord. And Nile Rodgers would probably do a 3-note thing. The real sound is more 3-note. But the 4-note sounds good too. It adds a little bit of thickness to it. And thankfully this sound is brand new again, but its origins are a bit back. And so what I do is with my right hand, I do a constant up and down. And then I choose to squeeze certain notes. I love that. So what I'm doing is I'm going down, up, scratch, up. I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Down, up, scratch, scratch. And every time I scratch, I'm muting the strings with the flesh from these fingers right here. So down, up, scratch, scratch. And if I do that really fast, slow it down, but you want your right hand to be second nature and just be going up and down all the time, like I don't know, pendulum on a clock or something. And for this sound, I have chosen the middle pickup because it's bright and spanky. This is a throaty pickup here, the neck, the Hendrix E. Stevie Ray Vaughan pickup. That's good also, but I think the sound is more in the kind of, has less bottom and it's more spanky. You can even go to this pickup and split the coil. That's good too. So choose the pickup that you enjoy the most. But I would say it's not the throaty one, it's the middle one. And so all I'm doing is I'm going from E minor to A, and I'll do it a little faster. Now, just to be interesting and try and add more energy and keep everybody motivated, I go up here, and I chose an E minor 7th this time. I actually meant to do an E minor, but since I landed on the E minor 7th, I thought I'd be a good performer and just pretend that I meant it. So this is an E minor 7 chord here. It's the same as a G, but when you play the low E note, E minor 7. And this is easy to take up to A because it's exactly the same shape. So here's the E minor 7. I think that's the 7th fret.
Also looks like your very first D chord that you never learned.
That's right.
That might be confusing for people. I always try and explain how sometimes you have the same shape, but the context of it changes the chord. Just how we saw that thing that I said, it looks like a G major 6, but with an E in the bass, then it becomes E minor, and just the same as that, that could be a G major or an E minor 7, but we've got a bass in the playing an E note, so it makes it E, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things about guitar, and one of the confusing things about guitar is that here's D, here's F, here's G, but here's B minor, here's what is this one? I don't know, and here's E minor. So it's you just do the best you can and then fill in the blanks later. I did.
So let's do this. Why don't you just improvise? So now we have 2 choices for E minor.
Yeah.
And 2 choices for, obviously there's more choices, but for
right
now, mix and match those 4 different things.
little tricky thing there.
Wait, show us
It's
that.
suspension.
What was
So
that?
I could. I just.
Ooh,
So
nice.
I'm just mashing my finger down and picking up the A suspended. So you take your third finger and just bridge it across these two strings. You have the shape right here. It's not that hard to just mash the third finger down and pick up a suspension. And then you work that into the actual phrase. It's a quick move, might take some time. Same thing, I can do it down here. That's the suspension right there, the 4-3. So I'll throw them in. But do that after you've learned the simple way. Another E minor up here, that's really good to use, which is you can take your third finger or your first finger, usually not the second.
Are you a thumber at all with the bass notes?
I am, but I don't have guitar player fingers, so
Me
I'm not,
neither.
I don't have the Hendrix thumb that goes like all the way down there, so I have to, I don't do it as much as
Me
other
too.
players, but
Me
when
too.
I'm down here, sure, yeah. Another E minor up here that's basically the octave of the open.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. You're just taking the top 3 strings of the A chord that's down here. We know that one. And you do the A chord there. But honestly, the instinct of these players is always to kind of do it in the middle and to do a 2-note chord or a 3-note chord. And I honestly didn't know this until this moment. I think pretty much his whole thing is a 3-note chord usually.
Okay.
He chooses, his ear, his temperament has him choose 3-note chords.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good concept because I know from teaching so many beginners and even intermediate, they want to strum all 6 strings all
Yes.
the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to overemphasize, I think, to the players out there that want to branch out, especially in an ensemble.
That's it. This means you're playing with other people, basically. If you're going, if you're at a coffee shop and you're alone, maybe that's your choice. But if you're playing with people, you let the bass player and drummer have their space, and you play up here.
Don't get in their way.
They'll like
know
you better.
about that,
Yeah, they will like you better.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for breaking that down.
My pleasure.
Hey, man, that was pretty cool. That was very informative. Anyway, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, just try
It almost so much time went by during that lesson. It feels like time really went by quick.
The lesson of the future.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank Tim Pierce for hanging out with us. And then also, there's even more Tim Pierce stuff in his YouTube channel. I'll link down there. Give him some love. Go down, check it out. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Cool. We'll see you guys again soon.